I guess you can.
Wait, am I feeding the shot? I don't want the food fetish report to be like.
No.
Yeah.
That escalated so.
It's like
so
a thing, guys. Like
It's been
seriously.
happening?
Yeah. No, like it's a thing people watch. Yeah.
Is it a recurring thing on the show?
No, like it's just like in the world of like social media things.
It is a thing. Welcome everyone to another episode of Otaku and Friends. Finally, we're doing the thing in our title with the friends thing. We have friends with us. Yes, people are busy, but we do our best to drag them here. We've dragged two friends. Say hi, friends.
Hello.
So I guess you guys can introduce yourselves.
I am Chitalu Ilunga. Most of you might know me as Nova. I'm the founder of AI Gaming, and right beside me is Logan. But I'll let him take over on that.
My name is Luchele Tindisa. Everyone knows me as Logan.
And that's Logan.
And that's that.
When for real, like those who are watching this for the first time. Hi, I'm Logan. And that's Dennis kid in the back.
Hey, so I've wanted to have you on for an interview or whatever, or just a chit chat really, to talk about AI gaming and mostly yourself. So what kind of spurred you on to kind of start a Zambian eSports team? Why then? Why not earlier? Why not later, etc.?
It's a very long story. So I'm gonna rant on for a little bit. I hope you'll cut out what's good and what's bad. Okay, so basically, would you believe it if I told you AI was not my first attempt or really time diving into the world of esports?
Really?
No, it wasn't. I used to play competitively on PC with a group of friends I met in university.
What games did you play on PC?
So when I met them first time, we started playing Modern Warfare. I had this game on console for so long, didn't have any experience with it though. I played it for about a week on console before I met these guys. And one of them just said, hey man, you have a good PC, you wanna try this? And right from there, we just, 5 close-knit group of friends just took off, became the best COD players. We took on challengers from different places. Some people came through from Unza. It was really fun, you know? Like we thought we were good, but we didn't think we were great.
Yeah.
So we used to challenge ourselves every now and then when we could. Fast forward a little bit, we played COD mostly for fun. So down the line, we started playing this different game, Rainbow Six Siege. It was more tactical. For me, it was a nightmare. I'm a rusher, you know?
Yeah.
My play style is similar to my name, Nova. I just go out with a bang. Like I'll do a lot of damage, but I'll go out quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, for
Like
me,
glass cannon.
a game where I had to be patient and actually really think and read my enemies instead of just overwhelm them with reflexes and speed. It was weird.
Yeah.
But I caught on, and it turns out Rainbow Six Siege actually did have roles that fit my crazy playstyle. They used to call us fraggers or entry fraggers. So basically my job is to get in there as quickly as I can, disrupt you while you're doing your important task, while you're enforcing, you know, kill as many of you to make it easier for the real guys, super strategic guys outside to get in, do their job patiently.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my role. We started a team called Team Ping. We competed in the African scene for a little bit and got a real big opportunity in season 1 of the Rainbow Six Siege Pro League. I think it was hosted by the Pan-African Gaming Union. Made some good friends there, Moj Karani, or James Moj Karani, and some other people in the Kenyan scene, like Olympus. So season 1, when the Pro League kicked off, we had 10 friends. Like our group kind of grew a little bit in size. So typical Rainbow Six Siege team size is 5. We had to think quick because we were all ping. All we did was, I would try to say this in a polite way, is the Sharks talked it out and said, hey, let's form an external team. We'll call it AVS. AVS was short for Avian Sports. You might still see the logo every now and then. I'm pretty sure you can find the videos where we participated. So we had Avian Sports on this side and Team Ping on this side. And those were two teams we entered in the Pro League. And we had a good time. It was really something. That is around the first time I met Cholwe and Dennis himself. Man behind the camera right now. So when I did meet Cholwe, here's the funny thing. We actually asked her saying, how would you like to pick up an entire team?
Yeah.
You know, like this is a full stacked, ready practicing team for Rainbow Six Siege. And if you're interested in the opportunity, we're here. That was around, I think, the LSCon exhibit. Yeah. So Eddie helped us get into LSCon. We had an exhibit there, playing against Kenya. I think the team was called.
You know, I remember that. Did you actually manage to
a lot
play?
Of issues. We had a lot of issues that day. That day was fun though. We had some network issues. I think some power issues too, because everybody brought their big rigs, right? PC gamers,
Yeah.
you expected, but they brought big rigs, and you couldn't plug more than 2 of those on one of those tiny extension cables. So the fuses were blowing out like crazy. Once we did figure it out and separate the PCs well enough, we got going, and then small issues kept on. We played a few rounds and said, okay, guys, here's what we're gonna do. We can play as much as we can here, but we can postpone the official match to tonight. And I will tell you right now, we lost. We lost so hard in the official match. But that was an invitation. It was just an exhibition again.
Yeah.
So never really rely heavily on what you see in the off season. I'll tell you that much right now. Even if you lose hard in the off season, don't think you lost. Because think about this, right? I could just be holding back. I could be hiding my main strategies from you because I know I don't need them yet.
Yeah.
I could just be reading you. I could use that game as an assessment of what you're able to do. So when the season did start, we kind of wiped them. I remember the scoreline was 6-2, 6-1, back to back. And yeah, that's really how we got started in esports. After that, the team kind of started to collapse because people started dropping out, and a little difficult with PC gaming. Games became more advanced, data issues, because Liquid was the best hope, but Liquid was not cheap.
Yeah.
And you had MTN, but again, it's little data issues. You pay for MTN, it's cheaper, yeah, but maybe it's not as good or as stable.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, it's a good network, but it wouldn't be as stable. It cut out for 15 minutes, every 15 minutes where I live. So I couldn't play on that. Yeah. So the team kind of reduced, kind of collapsed. We still play as buddies today, and honestly, they're still some of the biggest Rainbow Six sharks I know.
So like they just play for fun, they don't...
Right now, they just play for fun.
Really?
The
Yeah.
best player I have ever met. See, okay, there's 2 players I can highlight from my squad. One is SD. Unfortunately, he passed away. And he was a really good friend, really good guy. So SD was a monster. He was an entry fragger, that was his role. Shared a similar kind of playstyle to me, and he was just mad at the game. I wish I could play like him. If he was playing today, I'm pretty sure he would have been picked up by a major team somewhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, second best player I know is more of a defensive player, because my role was weird. I could entry frag, but on attack every now and then, I could actually play support. And when I played support, I was paired up with who I will still say is the best Montagna in African Pro League history. So Montagna is a character, we call him the Fridge.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically a big guy with a big shield. And once he sets up in the corner, he's done. You're not moving him. You can try, but you're not getting behind him. And the only way you can get him when he's in that state is usually with a knife. So if he's just ducking you every single time you try to get him, you're not getting him. So yeah, cause he was the best Montagna I ever played with. And I'd be on my Thatcher, he'd be on his shield. I clear the way for him, he gets in there, he plants, he sets up.
Yeah.
And once he's up, he's up. Yeah, so they still play for fun today. Cuz did say the game is stressful at a competitive level, and it is. The stress doesn't really go away, you just find a way to deal with it. Fast forwarding again, after the team collapsed, I realized I really missed the whole competitive field. So it happened really quick. Luke could actually detail a little bit about how it happened. It happened really quick. I just made a phone call one day, kind of after really thinking about it. I said, hey man, I think you and me can start something big. I think we can try and elevate esports here. You know, like we can do it ourselves. We can figure out a competitive roster and we can dominate.
Yeah.
Because I played COD with him for a while, and we also met a long time ago in the first, I think, competitive COD event. It was something in 2014. Back then, he took it. I got mopped. GG's. Yeah, so I called him up, and within a few days, he had a roster. He had names that we had to look at, and those names were legendary names. So I owe a really big part of our success to his recruitment efforts.
Why are you being shy? Like, just say yeah.
So I'd like to know about like the recruiting side of things.
Yeah.
That's him right here.
Yeah.
So
If there's a player I need looked at, if there's somebody that applies, what usually happens is I'll look at the player, I'll see if he checks off a few boxes for me, because my boxes are just kind of smaller level, you know, like less.
Yeah.
are you good?
I need
Yes.
to know you're
No.
good, right?
Out.
I need to know you're good. I need to know that you got good character.
Mhm.
You know, that's it for me. After that, I'll pass you on to him.
Okay. So what do you look for when you're recruiting a player?
Well, usually for me, it's I'm looking for like the passion, the drive, because like he mentioned, we played a while back or playing COD. I played that tournament that was organized by I think Plug TV. Yeah, so I played that tournament. I won with my teammate. That was Luchele actually back then. So I win that, and I'm like, we're actually good here. We have good local players. We need to take this somewhere. We need to do something with this talent. And just the passion, the drive, the way I was motivated to like work hard on that back then. It's like that's what I look for in someone before like we pick them up, we sign them. I just need to know. I just talk to them. I ask people around about how they play. They show me their gameplay, and if they check out, I see that this is someone who really wants it. Then yeah, we have them with the team.
How does it feel to reject someone? Or like, how does that go?
Yeah. How do you tell them like?
And also, I've
try
had.
again next year?
Sorry, love it.
No, sorry.
I've had this question asked before. I never know how to answer it because I've never owned an esports team. I've had parents ask me, like, say I've got a kid or like, you know, a young girl who's 8, 9, 10. How would she join these teams? What would you be looking for? Are you capable to like get like 10, 12-year-old kids? How would you deal with school and their parents? You know how these things are. They're not very like they know and they kind of support, but not fully.
Yeah.
How would you convince a parent to be like, your kid's a prodigy, I need them on my team, and this is how it's gonna work, etc.
So apparently for me, I have no experience in that department yet. But I don't know. I feel like you just need to take the time, sit down and talk with them, because this was like an issue for me as well, going into that same Black TV tournament back then. Like, yeah, my parents used to like see me playing video games, you know, but they didn't really see it as anything that could take you anywhere. So just winning that tournament, like I think I just left home with maybe like 100 kwacha, maybe that was the entry fee or something.
Yeah.
I come back and I show them, I won this match. They're like surprised. So they have like a certain level of respect seeing me like game up to now. So I'm thinking if I were in that situation where like picking up someone who's young and their parents are uncomfortable, all of that, you just have to like share that experience with them. Let them know that this is like something that's growing here in Africa. Esports is still growing, and it's a great opportunity if they could let their son participate.
And if I may weigh in there, parent support is really important for the younger players, especially those under the age of 18. It's kind of a standard. You don't really, because based on law, competition, whenever big prize pools are at stake, young kids competing, you have to be a certain age to actually participate. For younger children, you can actually have your parents involved and sign for you, basically, so that they give you permission and they handle most of the legal, monetary issues. So your parents really have to be involved in it, and knowing that they can be confident that you'll be safe, that you'll actually be able to earn, and that you're not just wasting time playing games. That really helps them. It gives them that confidence. I think, I'm not sure it's Ninja Kid, his parents, don't they attend every single event? Yeah. And that's the kind of support you might need when you're a younger player.
True. And like the direction we are also trying to go with the team is that we're trying to get to a point where we can like show Zambia like this is an outlet for children, for like youth. It's something that they can turn into a positive thing, and they can actually make a living off of.
Fortnite World Champions.
Because like me, I started playing in video game centers and all that. You see a lot of kids there, and like days like this, you find that a lot of kids are opting to do other things like drinking and all that. But this is something that can turn into a positive thing.
Yeah. So I just wanted to find out, so when scoping out for players, do you sometimes go to the game centers to like just check out what fresh new talent is on the scene? Like, do you make time to do that?
Yeah, like I mentioned, I grew up playing in these game centers. I'm still like friends with, I'm sure you know Max, all those people. Yeah. So like I take my time. Like right now I'm staying in Kawa, but when I come here, I take time. I visit that game station. I talk to him. I see what the kids are doing. So I even have like names right now. Oh, I see this kid. Give him a few years. I'm sure he's gonna be great at whatever he's doing. So yeah, I do take the time.
Also, I think we skimmed the issue of rejection.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that one. So for that one, I feel like personally the way I deal with that is I try to convince the person, like before I reject them, that I don't like the idea of like you're self-proclaiming. I just hear it from you that you're saying I'm a great player at this game and all that. It's better if I can hear that everywhere else. Yeah, that really helps. So I tell them that yeah, just take your time, put yourself out there, make content, and if I can see these things elsewhere, not coming from you, that would really help out.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
From my point of view, because I don't really look at them at that deeper level that he does. So, as I said before, I'll look at a player and I'll see, is he good? And I'll see, does his character match? So for me, it looks kind of, if I see somebody is good but not at a level I feel they should be at to play at that level, I wouldn't want to completely crush them and say, look, you're not there. You know, I want them to keep playing and keep practicing, because the more you do play, the better you get. There's no secret. There's no, if I get that scuff controller or those Turtle Beach headsets, I'm gonna be able to beat that guy. It doesn't work that way. You really have to practice, and that's the only way to get better. Practice, and also practice with teammates, practice with different people. Because if you play alone, you know, are you guys fans of the Witcher series?
Yeah.
Witcher 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the beginning scene there, I realized something that Geralt said to Ciri when she was practicing alone with the dummies. And he said practicing alone embeds errors.
Yeah.
So you can think you're doing really well, and you could be doing a terrible thing really well. So when you meet a good player that knows what he's doing, he's gonna punish you for it.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised saying, I've been practicing. So it really comes down to just keeping them inspired. I would tell you, we're not looking for, you know, say players that are participating like this, or players that are playing your game right now, but please keep playing. We'll keep you on our shortlist. We'll keep watching what you're up to. And that's basically how I would send somebody away.
Cool. I feel like I cut you short on how AI came to be, so maybe you can continue, or
after the
the recruiting thing.
Maybe I can help out on
Yeah.
that. He's mentioned most of the origin story in his end. So for me at that time, I think I was even like approached by a few people like just a few months before talking about teams, but there was something I was looking for that I wasn't hearing from these people. So Nova calls me, he mentions, oh, I'm working on this, and then there's like a few things I was looking for in there. I was like, say less. The same day I started talking to my friends. I talked to Mooch because I know that these are great players. They are like they just don't have the support they need. Yeah, because I remember when James started out, the way they put together the team was that they had the tournament, and those people that won got a contract. That's how it worked for them. And at that same tournament, originally they had Call of Duty listed as well, and then like maybe a week before the tournament decided to scrap it, and I wanted to play Call of Duty. I wanted to be on a team.
Yeah.
So when they did that, I noticed there's still a lot of good players here that were left behind. There's Muchi, there's Lo, a lot of people that do a lot like in the FGC, including South African players and all that. So as soon as I get off the call with him, I started talking to my friends like, look, we have an opportunity here. I think we can really build up something with this. So I talked to Lo, I talked to Muchi, and I think at the time Killjoy, I think just a few months back he was dropped by Jen because I think there was like some issues there having that number of players. So this is also a great opportunity for him to prove himself.
Amazing.
So it was like a great storyline for him. I'm not even sure if people actually knew this. So it's like coming back into the eSports scene, and then he's just dominating everything right now. Yeah, so that was pretty much it. I just had this list of names already in mind, like, oh, these are the people we would definitely work with. And up to now, this is still the core team we have. We're still planning to expand in different games and all that, but the core team is still here, and we've seen great results.
That's very, very cool. So based on that, because I'm kind of on not opposite end, I'm on the organizing end. We as Otaku, we organize some of the events you guys participate in. So based on that, what would you say you look for in like a good tournament organization wise? Like, what would you say, okay, this is done well? Would you say that we are growing? Not the Otaku, just esports in general in Zambia. Would you say we are growing? Are we kind of plateauing? Are we going down? Like how has it been for you as an esports team? How has the scene been?
I think the scene has definitely grown. You think of back in 2014, like I said, that was the first major tournament I did. So my experience goes back that far. 2014 has been the only COD tournament I've ever seen. Maybe there were some, but I think they were cancelled. On the other side though, we had MK and we have FIFA, right? FIFA has been consistent. I don't think I can say FIFA has grown or shrunk tournament-wise or event count-wise. FIFA has been steady and constant. It's the one constant. Mortal Kombat definitely rose in popularity, rather fighting games here rose in popularity, and there have been plenty of events for people to compete in. You've got you guys holding us down on the tournament front. We got RDG also. He set up the weekly series slide, and it was great. Seeing that come to a conclusion at Comic-Con, and seeing the other series at that end of that global platform. It was really good times. The tournament count has definitely gone up, but I think maybe that growth has slowed down. Don't get me wrong, from back then, it's definitely great, but since then, I think the growth rate has slowed down a little bit. But what I'm happy with is new games are being incorporated in the scene. So you're getting Call of Duty, you're getting COD Mobile, you're getting PUBGM, you're getting all these new gamers coming out of the woodwork thinking, hey, this is my time. I can express myself in my favorite game. I don't have to conform, I don't have to get good at FIFA, I don't have to get good at MK. I can play what I'm good at playing and have fun.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good time right now for the esports scene.
Good point. I know COVID has affected us. Understatement of the year. It's really affected us.
Yeah.
Like, geez. Would you say it's affected you guys as well?
100% did. Because at the start of the year, usually you see a lot more events. At start of the year and slight end of the year, COVID, the pandemic really began in which month?
March.
Yeah. So at the start of the year, you see more events. March is at least in the first half. So we weren't really seeing as much. There was a dry spell. Everybody was very cautious. I'm not sure who was the first person to step up and say, you know what, I think we can do this online.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe it was you guys with the what was the series called? Quarantine Combat #1. Yeah. So that was one of the steps that people took. And then the ACGL had always been online, so they kept on going. They have little tournaments, little events that you can participate in, like for PS Plus, small things, small rand rewards. Yeah. So those kept steady, but then people want to see majors where their wins really mean something beyond just a PSN card or something like that. So those were definitely dry for the first half of the year. But then, you also had major events being cancelled, like Evo, and
So the Evo
Evo.
cancelled because of pedophile.
Was it?
Mostly.
Well,
There
yes.
was somebody involved. There was somebody involved.
Mostly because
Upper-
of pedophile.
Yeah.
Not
For
necessarily. Yeah, not necessarily COVID.
This is the first
Oh.
time hearing
Yeah,
this.
but-
Really? You didn't?
Yeah, because of like
I actually
Sex
never heard
offenders.
of
Well, that was
Sex.
a huge thing.
yeah.
Wow.
And like a lot of them were being outed on Twitter. Like a lot of them.
Oh.
Yeah. There was like a
Surprisingly,
It was so
really
shit.
bad in the Smash community.
Yeah.
Not expected.
yeah. Speaking of Smash, I know it's popular everywhere else and like there's really huge prize pools. Why do you think that Smash hasn't really taken off competitively in Zambia?
I know a lot of people who play Smash,
Yeah.
but I don't think anybody's ever really said, what if we host a Smash tournament?
I don't think I've heard that. Because like
It
there's
could be
a
that simple.
lot of games that haven't really taken off in Zambia. Like
Yeah.
we have like a huge game like Call of Duty. One would think that we have like a group of people that will always play together or something, even screaming. But
Yeah.
it's been really slow. So I'm guessing like for Summit, it's like the type of game and the player count. That's what I've noticed
I mean,
personally.
you can talk about the earlier issues that we faced with the card team. With the MK team, it was fine because everybody played independently. You're a one-man team. What you do is what gets you the result in the end. You don't need to wait on anyone else. You can practice with a friend, but you're fine on your own. So with COD though, team sizes were about 5-man per team. So you really need to make sure that this guy has power, that guy has power, that guy has power,
Yeah.
that guy has power, that guy has internet. We all have internet. Okay, we're good. Let's go.
Yeah.
And that during the time when the power cuts were just crazy, 8 hours long, 10 hours long, it wasn't really manageable.
Yeah.
So back then, I think understand why the Zambian card scene was suffering, but it's been a bit more stable now, and network has improved, and the prices are getting more expensive. But they're better. But some networks are staying cheap. Zamte was trying to do good things.
Yeah.
We have their fiber packages now. So
Speaking of like a game like Smash, I feel like people around here sleep on Nintendo.
Yeah.
That's like a huge thing. Few people have Nintendo because
Come on,
only time I
true.
see
Yeah.
games like Mario Kart and all that is like when we have like maybe Otaku events. You find someone brings that, yeah, and you're actually having fun playing those, but still no one wants to pick up that console.
Makes sense. I feel like, because for me, I'm an esports fan, like of many different genres, and unfortunately on our end you have to kind of balance the I mean, it's unsexy to say, but you have to balance the numbers and say, okay, if we do this, the prizes, we pride ourselves on most of the prizes we don't do based on ticket entry. If I have a prize, that's from us. Whether we got 5 entrances, that's the price, right? and I personally believe that's how all tournaments should be. But to each their own. But at the end of the day, you have to balance your numbers. My accountant is not going. Shweka's not going to take 4 tournaments where we had 5 entrants and we put up money as Otaku. Like at the end of the day, he'll be like, Dennis,
it's
no.
not feasible.
Yeah.
But once it's set, you stick to that number.
So we can do our best to bring up the numbers, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like it's a cycle. Like the community has to be there, has to demand it, and and vice versa. So that's how it goes.
Yeah, and also in the same vein, like even getting sponsorship, it's hard to say, hey, we want to do this tournament, but there's only 5 people participating, and it's like, okay, why are we putting money towards something that doesn't seem to have an audience for our brand? Yeah.
So
I've been at a few of those.
Yes.
Those low attendee events with the high price pool.
Yeah.
I respect the organizers that actually stick to their word and say, you know what, we'll pay you the full amount. We reserve this ahead of time.
Yeah.
But then I do understand from their standpoint, if that happens, if they have a 10K prize pool, only 5 people registered, they're not gonna do it again.
No.
Yeah.
They're gonna adjust the prize pool way down or go into something else.
Yeah, and that kind of brings everything down, which is not cool because I want esports to grow across the board, whether done by us or not done by us. I'm a fan of esports. I'm Zambian. I would like Zambian esports to be huge. You know what I mean?
I am really passionate about the COD scene. I want to see. I know great COD players. I know great Zambian COD players. I know we have what it takes to compete at a higher level. And I want to see the scene take off. I want to see some random kid pop up out of nowhere and he's like the best COD player we've ever seen and we never knew who he was.
Yeah.
But now he has a chance to show up. I want to see the scene take off. That's one of my goals right now.
True. I've just remembered my thought as well. In terms of the low turnout thing and sponsorships. So what sponsorships want is either like their brand to be known or high turn. The high turnout is not. They don't want your ticket prices or entries. Like they don't want that. They just want their brand to be known.
Yeah.
Which is why content creation super important. So if there's a tournament and it's being streamed live or whatever, those are numbers. Like that's your brand being seen. So even if it's a low turnout or invite only, I'm very sure you're going to be seeing a lot of invite only type tournaments, especially with COVID and stuff.
Yeah.
As long as it's being streamed out there or something and you're getting mad numbers, then you get more money into it. Like the prices go higher. So I really appreciate that, you guys are doing big on the content creation side of things. I think that's really important. And even abroad, like these guys don't just compete at tournaments. They have Twitch channels, YouTube channels, and they grow their base so that when a tournament pops up, their fans are watching and the fans of the team plus other viewers, and that's why all these big sponsors come in. So I'm really hoping that if you're a gamer out there and let's say you're not signed to an esports team, create the content. You are doing a huge favor to everyone involved, and it makes, believe it or not, it makes the prices go up more than entering a tournament. More than that. So just keep doing that.
Like, especially for me, picking up players, if you make content, that's like your CV, because I'm gonna be looking at your content. Oh, he does this, he plays this role, and that's gonna make it much easier to pick you up.
True.
So don't just think about views. I get like 5 views. It's like your portfolio, And speaking of content, I'm subscribed to the AI channel on YouTube. Yes. So I wanted to find out, like, what are your, plans for your channel, content-wise?
Content-wise, we started. We have a few things in the works. I'm not sure if we can talk about them yet. He'll tell me. So if I'm wrong on that,
scoops on the
just
Otaku
do
Friends.
this to me and then I'll stop talking.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just going to be elbowed.
Just elbow him in the gut.
So we started a podcast series. I think people actually like the podcast series. Besides a few complaints about the audio maybe being low, we recorded it sort of in fashion where somebody's in the right ear, somebody's in the left ear. So if you got both earphones in, it's more immersive. Yeah. And also we just really want to shine a light on the player themselves. You know Killjoy, but how well do you know Chimba? Right? So we gave the players a chance to really express themselves, tell us about who they are, what made them them, and the podcast series is, I think, doing really well. Next episode will be laws. Stay tuned for that one. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Content-wise, we're also thinking of moving into different games, things that involve the whole team, say, playing one game, right? And also, after that different game idea, we also had a plan for a show that would take place sort of
I think his elbow. I think his elbow is
it's
like.
not there. So it's sort of going to be techy, just overall gaming, tech oriented, a discussion on everything gaming, everything rather in our world, in the world of eSports, in the world of competitive gaming, casual gaming, just about everything hosted by two of AI Gaming's players, and we have guests on, same way you have us on here.
Looking forward to that.
I'd actually like him to elaborate on that because I probably butchered it.
No, I think that's actually fine because that's the idea. It's basically just me. I'm gonna be working with Mochi, so it's like we're just trying to get some coverage on the local esports scene and also a bit of the AC guys and all that. Since Mochi is friends with a lot of the people there, so it's like we're just trying to let people talk about how they feel about like you're asking us here. What do we think about how you organize everything? That's what we want. We want people to talk about what they would like to see and anything like that.
Cool, very cool. Okay, so I'd like to switch gears a bit and talk about some of the, I guess, fun stuff that you guys are into, not so, I guess, esports heavy. So I'd like to know, like, what got you into esports? Like, what is your first, your first memory, or what made you a fan of it, I'd say? I'm assuming that you are a fan of it. I know some competitive players who are not fans of esports.
It's just a job.
Yeah, I know some. So, like, are you fans? Is it just a job? Like, how is it?
Like for me, I'm definitely a fan because playing in game stations, the thing is you are playing like shooters. You're playing split screen, 4 players there. You can see each other. You predict everything your teammate is doing. You're just waiting for him to make a
Speaking of
mistake.
which, I want to bring up something. Back in the 2014 Plug tournament, I just found out that Raphael was heavily involved in the organization, and I'm upset. I need to express just how upset I am that tournament was run over split screen. Because I saw more than 4 screens over there where we could have easily done something that was better fitting for the game. But I do appreciate the opportunity to have to actually play at that. It got me started. So.
Yeah, so like for me, it was just playing against like my friends and everything in a game station. You start beating everyone at the particular game. For me, that was called beat. I'm like, damn, I'm beating everyone here. What else can I do? Where can I take this? So at that time, I think I got a PlayStation 3, and I think the first game I played online was probably Call of Duty Ghosts. I had Ghosts first, so I played that, went online, and the experience was terrifying because I couldn't look at the opponent's screen. I couldn't predict anything. So first thing you do is like you're just standing in a corner, so no one's gonna see me coming from here. I'm just gonna be waiting. That's exactly what I did. Awareness 0. So I tried to play that a bit. I'm getting better. I even come across him. That's where I first met him. Found him on the server on Black Ops 2.
Oh, we used to meet
Funny
up a
guy,
lot of times.
he has like a Zambian flag. I'm like, who is this guy? And his name was actually AI Nova, but like he had a capital letter L. I thought that was like
Don't tell people about that.
Al Nova. So it's like
I
even
hate
all of
that
my
name
friends.
to this day.
Even all of my friends were there, all of these guys, we just knew these guys are no, but we find this guy on there and we need to shred him. So imagine there's this Black TV tournament, right? Me and Morelia are like hyped, there's no one that can beat us at this game, like great. I pull up, I see this guy, I'm like, oh, you play this game a lot? And he's like, my tag is AI Nova. I was like, oh.
Is that really the first time you met?
That was the first time. I was like, oh, cool. At the side, I went to put my bro, is that I don't know what dude, bro. I don't know if I'm gonna win, bro. I'm worried. So yeah, me beating him in that tournament, but yeah, we had split screen. That wasn't fair for anyone. It wasn't even fun. It felt like robbing someone. Yeah.
No, they played super well. I remember how they played. They kind of capitalized on the fact that you can always see somebody's screen.
Yeah.
I tried to, I think, ignore the screen as much as I could, but yeah.
Can't
So
help yourself.
they got a really early lead, right? And then basically clustered themselves around certain places of the map that they knew that was defensible. And I'm not gonna say camping because there's a difference between camping and just playing defensively, right? Defensively means you're just waiting for them to come to you, but you're not afraid of being in different positions, charging them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're prepared. Is essentially how you play that. And they were ready, They set up. I was like, these guys have experience playing together as a team. That was me in my head, like they know each other. Because their movement was on point, their positioning was on point. If he's up there covering that cliff, this guy's down there in that corner. There's no way you're gonna aim at both of them at the same time. So they played very well. I'll give them that.
So yeah, now that we play this local tournament, we win. I was like, where else can I take this?
Yeah.
So this is me now. I started looking up eSports, professional Call of Duty tournaments, and I just fell in love with everything. I kept trying after that to find a way I would participate in tournaments. I remember on Twitter I even followed Nicholas Holden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the guy that works for, I think at the time, that was Telcom Digital Gaming League, their own website here. So I asked him if they could let other countries, not like other countries neighboring South Africa, to enter the tournaments. And then a while later, he let me know that, the second leg you guys can actually participate. I actually started setting up a team. I actually got Novel on board, I think Sui, Mwele, I'm not sure who else, but there was a few people there. But like he said, here in Zambia we have a lot of problems. We have internet, we have power issues, all of that. But the drive was still there. It's still here. Like I want to do whatever it is I can to either compete or get someone to compete at that level.
I wanted to ask about merch. So I remember I messaged Chimba and I was like, so how do I get your name on my back? Supporting our favorite players from AI Gaming. So I noticed that you had like a rebrand of your merch.
Mm-hmm.
So like, how do we get our hands on your merch?
We started doing seasonal releases. So basically, season 1 merch wouldn't match season 2 merch.
That's
and
cool.
that would kind of add that limited edition, not exclusivity, feel to it. Like if you got something in season 1, it's special.
Yeah.
Nobody else can get that now. But we did want to make our merch available. But the thing was, we needed, I think, a platform. Somewhere where we could do that consistently and just be able to handle most of the tasks in between, and also it had to be convenient. So right now we're looking at setting up something where people can actually just go into an online store and order.
Yeah.
And you find the hats. These are going to be new. You find some of the season 1 merch. I want to make the hoodies available because people were really requesting on the white hoodie. We got a lot of messages about those, so we might bring those back. I want to bring those back if you think it's a good idea.
Bro.
Yeah. And I'm sure you might have noticed we also have another logo.
Yeah.
The AIGA one. So that one is for like season 2. Like I was saying, we themed them to make each piece unique.
And also, like right now, we are in the process of trying to pick up sponsors. So before we actually get the merch printed out and everything, I'll make sure we know who's on board and everything and all that. So, but soon enough, we'll have the merch going out.
Okay. I just wanted to pick your brains because I heard a lot of gamer lingo going on there.
Oh.
So could you just give us a few phrases and descriptions of what they actually mean? Like I heard you say fraggers. Could you in those lines, the gamer lingo for the people that don't really.
So fragger comes from the term frag, which is basically a grenade. Fragging is getting a kill. So fragger means basically my job is to kill. I use my speed, my reflexes, my knowledge of the map to get in as quickly as possible and catch you off guard. So that's what an entry fragger does. And that was one of the major roles, still is one of the major roles in competitive Rainbow Six. Then I also mentioned support. So support players kind of hang back. They don't play characters that succeed in fragging because I'll give an example of a typical fragger character, Ashe. Ashe is good because she's 3 speed, so each operator has a speed tier, right? You got tier 1s who have 1 speed but 3 armor. Tier 2s who are 2 speed, 2 armor. So they're balanced. And you got tier 3s who are 3 speed, 1 armor. Glass cannons. Yeah, so you pick Ashe, she runs in as fast as she can, eliminates all the enemies she can get, and then if she dies, she dies. If she lives at the end of that, great, she's alive. So those are fraggers. Support players play slowly, they play more utility. Like utility would mean, say, there's a lot of gadgets in Rainbow. So there's defensive gadgets, offensive gadgets. So defensive gadgets, I'll give an example of like bandit charges. When you reinforce a wall with that metal plating, you can put a bandit charge behind it, and that bandit charge will electrify the wall, so that anything that touches the wall gets fried, and you can't get through. So you have the offensive operators like Thatcher who can melt that wall if they get their charge on it, but they can't get the charge on it without with bandit charge on it. So you get a support player who just tosses an EMP, brings down the bandit charge for like 10 seconds, and then Thatcher does his thing, boom, you're in. So it was more strategic, more slower paced. It's a role where you cannot afford to die.
Yeah.
Your teammate has it, your teams have invested a lot in you, so you're really valuable for the late game.
And then there's like Scrim, and I think I mentioned Scrim.
Yeah.
Scrims are like these are like custom matches.
It comes
like
from
playing
the
public
word scrimmage.
Yeah, like and like public matches where you just play against random people. It's like, oh, I invite my friends to join me, and then someone else invites friends. They have their own team there, and then we're playing in a custom match, either for practice or just fun.
It's like high level, no stakes matches just for the sake of practice.
Cool. I think more knowledge of terms like that and stuff is really important for like the casual esports fan, because from the business side of things and even just growing esports, it's actually more important to get more fans than actual competitors. Like even if we had 2 competitors in every esport, as long as there's 2 billion fans, that's great. Obviously I want more competitors, but like getting fans involved is important, and there's a barrier to entry when you don't really understand the lingo and stuff like that, and the rules. You know, it's still a new sport. So getting people in is I think something that I'm personally passionate about, and I think it's important that there's more education of those terms and rules, so that people get to know what they're watching when they're watching stuff.
This is actually some of the things we want to discuss on the same project I'm working on with Mochi. We're going to talk about all of these things, give people the insight they need.
Fantastic. I can't wait. I'm sure it's going to be up before this episode is uploaded.
Tell me what an anchor does. Tell me what an anchor does.
Oh, an anchor. So, so like Call of Duty, the way it is, Call of Duty, like when you're playing competitive, you know, like when you die, there's like a specific spot where you're going to spawn again. So when you're playing games like Hardpoint, you're gonna want to control where your teammates are spawning, so that when they die, they spawn near the hill where you're getting points, not like far away across the map. So what we do is that we have a few players playing in the actual hill, keeping the hill, and then we have one player hanging back in the spawns that are the closest to the hill. So this is like an anchor. You are anchoring your team as close as possible to the actual hill.
Cool. I first did anchor in UMVC 3.
Cool.
So you guys have not heard anchor in UMVC? No? So in 3v3 fighting games, the anchor will be like your... Well, when it first started, there were some characters who were like definitely OP. Doom, Sentinel, nerfed to death now, but like Sentinel, Doom, Virgil.
Yeah.
So these are the characters who, when Virgil comes in last, X Factors, and does one combo, he can kill any character.
Yeah.
Any character. Same thing with Sentinel, same thing with Doom, same thing with Magneto. So they were your anchor characters. So what would happen is sometimes, when in MVC during a combo, you could bring the other character in. If you manage to somehow parry that or whatever and attack, you can attack more than two characters at the same time. And if the anchor is in there, spend all your meter to destroy the
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter if your starting guy dies, but if you manage to kill the anchor as well in that, you're pretty good. Yeah.
So like a late game play.
Yeah, late game kind of thing.
Virgil was a beast, though.
No bad. Broke.
He's actually broken, actually.
Yeah.
Not even low key,
That's
very
right,
broken.
yeah.
Super Smash, Meta Knight. Everybody used to get Meta Knight.
Okay, that's almost all the questions I had, unless you've got something to add, little anecdotes.
I'm just gonna emphasize on a point that Novo put out. If we don't pick you up for the team, it's important that you don't stop playing. That's very important because we have a lot of growth in the esports scenario. Maybe we get picked up by a better team, not us, and actually beat us.
Yeah.
So just keep playing, keep going at it. At some point, there's I'm pretty sure there's great things coming for the esports scenario here in Zambia and just the rest of Africa.
And just no rejection is ever purely personal, unless you are an absolute nightmare to deal with. then yes, it may be personal.
Sorry, one more question. For me, I know teamwork is really important. Personality stuff is extremely important.
Yeah.
It's something that I don't take pride in many things. This is the one thing that I always mention in any interview I have. I always say I have the best team I could ever, honestly speaking. My team is insane. I always say they carry me. It's true. She's like, of course. So, and I know the qualities that are needed, to be part of the team and all that stuff. You've helped us before, Luch, in doing stuff. You've seen how much work goes in the background. It's intense stuff.
Yeah.
But you need to do your best to not let people know that it's hard, because they won't have a good, if you come to our events and you see, wow, this is really tough for these guys to do,
Yeah.
you won't have a good time.
Sure.
So the best thing is to not show that it's actually hard to do.
People
So what?
have a great time.
Yeah. So what kind of qualities would you be looking for in someone? Let's say there's a kid is hot-headed and maybe was rejected before, is scared that he might be rejected. What would they need to work with the team? Because there's different personalities in the team.
I'd say there's definitely different personalities, and what you can't change somebody not immediately.
Yeah.
I will say one of the best players in the world, the King, used to be a hothead. Scumpy from Optic, not Optic now, but he's Huntsman. He used to have issues with his teammates because he used to love to win, and that's a trait you're gonna find in most of these guys.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake that costs them the game, they're gonna be mad a lot of the time. So sometimes they express that in different ways, different levels. But it's true, as an esports player, you want to win. So you want your teammates to also play well. And when they don't play well, you might become upset.
Yeah.
But I will say the best thing you can do is emphasize that they are a team, and each and every one of them was selected for a reason. We didn't end up in that team for nothing. So that guy you're hating on for maybe making one bad play in that way is actually insane in this other way. So think about that. Don't just focus on the team. Also, you have to change yourself internally. You have to be more willing to work with people. That's all I can say. I've dealt with a lot of different personalities, but I will say the consistent thing is esports players are hotheads, and that's okay. It's important that they are.
It's the passion, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Communication is basically the key. What you need to remember is that you're dealing with people you don't know.
Mhm.
So whatever you do, just make sure that you're getting your message clearly out there, because communication can break down and everything just goes bad, especially in games like Call of Duty. You can have really good players, top tier players on a team, but if they're not communicating, they can get destroyed despite having the skill they need. Yeah, so communication is important. Like even for us here, we've also had some issues in the past on the team, but we always like just group up, let's meet and talk, see how we can move forward. So yeah, just learn how to communicate.
Also, one thing that does really help, especially when you have larger teams, we used to have this in Rainbow Six Siege, and we had arguments amongst the team. A mediator, basically one person who is independent from all that internal conflict and says, okay, let's sit down, let's talk, right?
Yeah.
What's going on? Can you tell me about what you're going through, what you're feeling about the situation? Can you tell me what you're going through? And everybody has a chance to express themselves without really feeling any, guilt or whatever. So that helps because then players can resolve their differences. And as captain, I was vice captain on the Rainbow Six team, but every now and then it did fall to me to see things through like that. And I had to make sure that you two were good. Like I had to visibly see it, I had to feel it in your gameplay before I could allow you back on the main roster. Because you could cost us the game just by having a little mini argument mid-game.
True. Very informative stuff there. I guess we can leave it there. If that's the only bit that you get from this whole video, please let it be that. Thanks for coming on, Luch. Thanks for coming on, Chitalu. Thank you for having us, Lombe.
You're welcome.
And yeah, I guess we'll see you in the next one.
Also, we are about to clock our 50th montage, so we might make that one a special interview.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Please do send us a link. We'll definitely post that. Is that coming soon or? Okay, yeah, I think we'll put that in the description.
Yeah.
All right, later, guys.